What's going on, guys? CloverBells here, back with another video, and today we've got Series 13 rental teams for you. It's the first day of a new month. It is September. Finally, Series 13 is here officially. So I can't tell you how many people are going to be playing this format, but it is a format to be played nonetheless. And like all first days of the new month, we always have a bunch of new rental teams that you guys can try to get your climb back through the ladder. And hopefully, you know, some of these teams will serve you well, or at least give you a nice little starting point where you can make your own Series 13 teams eventually down the road. But nonetheless, here we are. We're going to start with this Magearna team. And again, I've partnered with thatguyinabeanie. So hopefully, if you know who they are on Twitter, give them a follow. We'll put their credentials in the link below. But I partnered with them, and we have agreed that for 2 days, starting with the release of this video, you can get your own Magearna. So if you can put in the trade code, you will receive a Magearna that I have made with my spreads. And it's going to be the same one in this rental team that I'm going to show you here. So if you want that rental, if you want that Magearna, scroll to the end of the video where I will post the 8-digit trade code that you can put in and trade for a Magearna that I have specifically custom made for you. So definitely give that one a go. But again, if you want the rental team, here it is. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, here it is. Rental number 1. And this is a very popular one amongst others that have already used the team already from my team building video. And again, if you want to know how I do all my EV spreads, just go ahead and watch the team building video for each of these mythicals that I've built the team around. And first up is Magearna. So here we are with the Life Orb Magearna set, and I feel like all Magearna teams should always have a redirector, or whether it be an Amoonguss or an Indeedee, or even both. And I've decided to just go with the Amoonguss this time around. So again, the whole benefit of Magearna and why it's so scary is that ability Soul Art, right? Because when a Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field, or even on your side of the field, gets KO'd, Magearna gets a +1 boost, you know, putting it in a position where it can just sweep the entire team, right? You know, after you get that first boost, the second boost is easier, and then the third boost is easier, and then, you know, before you know it, the game is already over. And with Trick Room, you know, of course, Magearna is very, very slow. Not too slow, but, you know, slow enough where it can do some stuff in Trick Room. And what better, you know, team comp to put it on than with Calyrex Palkia, right? So at least now with this composition, you now have the two important VGC cores, right? You got a Fire Water Grass core, and you have a Dragon Fairy Steel core. So with Magearna, again, you can go for, you know, those Steel Spike boosts to make the entire team bulky. You have the strongest fairy move in the game with Floor Cannon, especially when it's Dynamax, it just hits like a truck. And then you have the Amoonguss to help set up that Trick Room and also abuse the Trick Room if they're unable to KO it with Spore Shenanigans. Calyrex also can come in and, you know, just click Glacial Lance, weaken things. Magearna can come in from the back, you know, just dominate from there after everything's been chipped. Incineroar is there for Intimidate and Fake Out support. I think Incineroar is still important in a format like this, just to, like, you know, intimidate physical attackers like a Zacian, like a Groudon, like an opposing Calyrex. So there you have that. And then, of course, really, really nice against a Shadow Rider team. You know, just having that Dark typing is really, really nice. Palkia, of course, nothing needs to be said here. It's a bulky Trick Room setter that can Dynamax and go for hard-hitting Max Skygers, Max Wormwinds, and even Max Quake. You do have the Lustrous Orb this time around because we have the Life Orb on the Magearna, but it's still able to go for good hard-hitting moves. And it's another Trick Room setter on your team, right? And then Calyrex, of course, with the White Herb, you know, you still want to be aware of those, you know, Intimidators from Incineroar. So White Herb is really, really nice here. And then Yveltal just rounds out the team by 1, going for those Airstream boosts, and then 2, supporting the team overall with that Assault Vest, going for Snarls and Oblivion Wings, just chipping the opponent's Pokemon down to have Magearna and Calyrex sweep from the back and then just dominate from there. It's a really, really nice team. Others have already had good success with it that have been using it. But now let's take a look at the EV spreads and see how we did our stuff. All right, so here's our Magearna spread. And again, with this investment, you're able to take the Groudon stuff along with Ho-Oh. At the time, I was calculating for Ho-Oh as well, just because I think it can rise in the format and be really, really good against a potential Steel type. So I wanted to at least account for Ho-Oh there, especially with the Intimidate support. But the main thing is with Groudon, right? So with Intimidate support, you're able to take those Groudon Precipice Blades. And even when it's Dynamax, you can still take that Max Quake boost, right? So that explains why we have so much defensive investment. The HP is just meant for Life Orb optimization and the 156 Modest Nature special attack just hits the second EV bump there, and then the rest just went into special defense and 1 point in speed. So this way, at least with Magearnas that aren't running any speed, you can potentially outspeed them, right? Calyrex is just 252, 252. Nothing needs to be said there. It's a pretty straightforward Calyrex. Amoonguss, the optimization here is with the regenerator boost. So when you pivot it out, you're able to get a solid whole number recovery as opposed to a decimal where if you had an odd number. So that's what we did for there. And then the relaxed nature is just for the second EV bump there in defensive investment, and then the rest just went into special defense. It's just a bulky mushroom. The Incineroar spread, very, very fast Incineroar this time around. You know, I always like fast Incineroars on Trick Room teams just because, one, you have a faster fake out to ensure that you get your own Trick Room up. Two, you have a slower parting shot in Trick Room, which means if they want to pivot out their Incineroar with their own parting shot, whatever they bring in, then you get to click parting shot, and then you get to reduce whatever they bring in, right? So there's the benefit there. And then outside of Trick Room, you just have a faster throat chop, so you can stop other Incineroars from pivoting out with their own parting shot as well. So 3 good reasons why you want a fast Incineroar on a Trick Room team. Palkia, that defensive investment, again with Intimidate support, you can take a Zacian Play Rough. And for Yveltal, same exact reason, you know, with the Intimidate, you're able to take the same move, Play Rough from Zacian. So with the Yveltal, also the HP investment is just meant to optimize weather damage. Nice even number in the Assault Vest for, you know, a nice even number for the 1.5 boost with that Assault Vest. So this way you don't get an odd number where you would round it down because it's a decimal. And then max speed Yveltal is really nice here. You know, just because a lot of Yveltals this time around are almost max speed, but they're giving up a little bit more speed for a certain calc. But I've decided to just opt for more speed just so that we have a faster Yveltal for that reason, right? So it's a pretty standard Magearna team. You know, you got your 2 VGC cores there with nice pivoting positioning, and you know, it's just overall a really solid team. And again, I will say one more time, if you want your own Magearna with this spread, feel free to go to the end of the video where I will post a trade link code where thatguyinabeanie will trade you a Magearna, and it's only going to be up for 2 days only, starting from when this video goes live. So definitely take advantage and get that Magearna as soon as possible. But having said that, let's move on to the second rental. All right, rental number 2 features Melmetal, and this is probably the other most proven team that we have of these rentals because someone has already used this team and won a tour with it. So that means it's already a pretty decent team. And with Melmetal, again, it's just such a strong Dynamax option. You know, if you look at its bulk with HP and defense, and then look at that attack investment, it's nuts. So might as well just slap a Life Orb on it and just do like an insane amount of damage. It's a really good Trick Room sweeper. You're slower than Calyrex Ice Rider, you know, depending on the EV spread, which we did do. And speaking of Trick Room, how are we getting it up? We're using Trick Room on the Calyrex Shadow Rider that we have on this team, so it's really nice there. But other than that, it's a very hyper-aggressive team with Kyogre, Whimsicott, Zacian, and Calyrex. You know, you can go for Tailwind with the Whimsicott, and just click Water Spout with Kyogre if they're not prepared for it. I feel like it always needs to be respected on lead. And then Calyrex can also, you know, potentially get speed control that way with Astro Barrage stuff. And same thing with Zacian, right? It's a very fast team. Yveltal with the Assault Vest, once again, just comes in and, you know, just weakens the opponent with Snarl stuff. And then Oblivion Wing, chipping things down for Calyrex and Kyogre to sweep from the back. And for Melmetal, same exact reason. But also what you can do is Dynamax the Melmetal, go for Max Darkness, Special Defense drops, and then Kyogre and Calyrex just come in from the back and then just potentially take advantage of those drops and sweep from there. Whimsicott has the eject button because we put a Focus Sash on the Calyrex, and it's really nice for positioning wise in terms of what we want to do with the Whimsicott after, you know, it gets a Tailwind up. We can also go for Cotton Spore just to get extra speed control that way. This way in the mirror, you have the advantage because if they go for Tailwind and you go for Tailwind, you can go for Cotton Spore next turn, and then all of a sudden speed control is completely in your favor. Helping Hand Boost, really nice with Kyogre and Calyrex as well as Zacian. It's just a very good support Pokemon on this type of team, right? And that's coming from a Grimmsnarl lover, right? So let's take a look at the EV spreads and then we'll move on to the next rental. All right, so again, the Calyrex and the Whimsicott are self-explanatory. 252, 252 spreads. Nothing needs to be said there. The Kyogre is just meant to outspeed opposing Regielekis with Tailwind. Now, technically, you can do that with a little bit less speed investment, but at that point, you're almost max speed, and other Kyogres are going to be going for that anyway. You might as well just go max speed just to outspeed those potential other Kyogres that aren't full max speed modest. With the Yveltal, again, same Yveltal as the other Yveltal. Just, you know, it's standard fast timid Yveltal. Optimization with the HP, optimization with the Assault Vest. Nothing else needs to be said there. Zacian, you know, with the +1 Airstream, you're outspeeding an opposing Regieleki. So really, really nice there. Melmetal, again, a little bit of Life Orb optimization. Just went straight into the attack stat. And then the special defense is where it really needs the investment. So we put some of it there. And then again, with the 0 speed brave nature, you're able to outspeed the opposing Calyrex Ice Rider. Really, really nice for that reason. And then with Will-O-Wisp on the Calyrex Shadow Rider, you're able to play the support game, burn Groudons, burn Zacians, burn Calyrex Ice Riders, burn opposing Melmetals. So definitely a very useful move there, and it's a really, really nice squad. I think I like it a lot. And it's already won a tour by someone who uses team, so it's, again, very, very much proven. So definitely give this one a go, but we're moving on to rental number 3. All right, coming up with rental number 2, we have Victini this time around. So it is a Life Orb Victini set. And again, it's the same Victini team that we made in our team building video, and it's a bulky one with Life Orb, Final Gambit, V-Create, and Trick Room. Really, really nice Victini set that we have here. Again, what better way to utilize Victini than with Venusaur and Groudon, right? Because with that ability to boost up accuracy, Venusaur has a little bit more accurate of a Sleep Powder, and Groudon a little bit more accurate of Precipice Blade. So both of those appreciate that ability very, very much so. And Victini enjoys the drought from Groudon because now you have a Sun boosted V-Create with Life Orb Stab. I can't imagine too many Pokemon that want to take a V-Create. But you can also utilize its supporting sets with Final Gambit because you can one-shot anything that doesn't have base 100 HP, which is why we went max HP investment with this Victini. And then you can go for Trick Room to better support your Lunala and Groudon that you have on the team, as well as your own Victini for that matter. Again, speaking of Groudon, this is an Assault Vest Groudon this time around with Fire Punch, Precipice Blades, Heavy Slam, and Rock Slide. So again, you can Dynamax this Groudon, get a defense boost, get a Quake boost. You know, it's just really, really nice against Kyogre. Normally I would go to Citrus Berry set, but I don't have a Grimmsnarl this time around, so I felt like Assault Vest was very much appreciated on this type of Groudon team this time around. Lunala, again, with Trick Room. Again, you're able to get more speed control. Just a second Trick Room setter on this team to better support your Victini and your Groudon that want to come in from the back. Yveltal this time around is Goggles with Tailwind, and this is one of the reasons why I like Yveltal in this format, right? Because you can use so many different sets of Yveltal this time around, and Tailwind is one of those sets. Normally might see it more on a Kyogre team without Whimsicott, but here we decided to go with this Tailwind set on this type of Sun team just because it just gives you another option for a speed control that one might not expect on this type of Sun Trick Room team, right? So with Tailwind, you're able to outspeed. I'm speaking in terms of Groudon here. Groudon can outspeed Calyrex Shadow Rider after that Tailwind boost. And then Lunala, after a +1 Airstream, if you Dynamax the Yveltal, can outspeed the Shadow Rider for that same reason, right? And then Venusaur, you know, it's just a straight standard spread in terms of its movesets. Focus Sash, that's all we really want on it. And then Zacian, relatively standard Zacian set, right? So, you know, you have a lot of options against Kyogre, against Zacian, and against other physical attackers that you might want to deal with. And then Venusaur can help you give you some outs with that a little bit more accurate Sleep Powder if you have Victini in position, right? But other than that, you can always just Dynamax the Venusaur, get Vine Lash Chip, Zacian, Groudon, and one of the other homies just come in from the back and help you out later on in the late game, right? So let's take a look at the EV spreads. Okay, and you can see that we have a relatively bulky Victini this time around. But again, this is just first bump in the Adamant Nature along with that HP investment for that Final Gambit. And again, I decided to go with a little bit more defense investment than special defense. And if you want to know what it's calc for, I'm going to keep that a secret, but I was calcing for a lot of things. But if you want to know specifically what they do, check out the team building video that we did with Victini. I think it's a lot that I want to save for it, but I don't really want to make this too long of a video. So if you want to know the specific calcs there for that defense investment, just take a look at that team building video that we did with Victini. Groudon though, again, meant to outspeed base 100s with that speed investment, and also so that we don't potentially speed tie other mons, right? So again, with second bump in the adamant nature, it's a very strong Groudon, and the Assault Vest just helps it against Kyogre, right? And then the Lunala, it's a very fast Lunala. Again, max speed was the wave towards the end of Series 12, and it's the wave again here in Series 13. Really, really nice after that Airstream boost, because you can outspeed Shadow Rider, right? And the Zacian is the same Zacian that we've been using since the beginning of Series 12. It's the same one that I've always very liked and appreciated here. And then the Venusaur is just a straight 252 spread because you have a Focus Sash on it, right? And the Yveltal is also relatively the same. All right, so let's move on to the next one. All right, with number 4, this is what I call Dead Sea, and you can probably figure out why, because we have a Kyogre and a Yveltal on the first 2 slots. So Marshadow is always an interesting mon that you can have in a format like this because of that Spectral Thief ability, which allows you to steal those Dynamax boosts and then go for an attack, right? And then Focus Sash is really, really nice, just because it's not so bulky. And for that reason, we have Endeavor on it, right? Because Endeavor is really nice with Marshadow, because if they go for the double up on the Marshadow and bring it to 1 HP, you can go for Endeavor and then just bring them down to 1 HP as well, right? So it can also be used in that kind of sense with the supporting set. Close Combat, really, really nice against Incineroar. And for that reason, this is why some Marshadows also run White Herb for that reason. But what Incineroar wants to come into Kyogre is my question, right? And then from here, you know, Yveltal really, really nice against Shadow Rider stuff, Zacian, same Zacian stuff. This is just a very hyper-aggressive team with Whimsicott, Zacian, Yveltal, Kyogre, and a Life Orb Regieleki with a physical set of Wild Charge, Bounce, and Assurance, so you can Dynamax the Aleki, go for Airstreams, go for Max Lightnings, and then Max Darkness plays for those special defense drops. If you have a Kyogre that wants to come in from the back, click Water Spout, then, you know, that Max Darkness is going to come in relatively handy, right? And we're back to the supporting set with the Yveltal with the Assault Vest variant. Snarl and Oblivion Wing, weaken the opponent, have Kyogre and Zacian clean up in the back. Always, always very much appreciated, right? And then Whimsicott, again with the eject button, Switcheroo. You know, you can take away their Focus Sash if it's a Calyrex Shadow Rider on lead, and then Marshadow can go for a Shadow Sneak and then just one-shot it, right? So it's a really, really nice combination there. But, you know, just being able to remove a key item with Switcheroo is very, very important, especially in best of 1 ladder, right? Which is what this team is meant to do. But yeah, that being said, let's take a look at the EV spreads. Okay, so here it is. Marshadow again, of course, Adamant Nature instead of Jolly, just so that our Whimsicott can go for that Switcheroo first before the Shadow Sneak. And, you know, originally I had it as Jolly, but then I realized, wait, no, the combination doesn't work. So we made Marshadow Adamant this time around. But again, really, really nice with Tailwind anyway, because you can just take advantage of the speed boost and still hit hard. Zacian, same Zacian spread as always. Aleki went for a little bit of Life Orb optimization there, but the rest just went into attack. But of course, being as fast of an Aleki as you can get with max speed here. I also wanted to remove Protect and put Electro Web here, just because, but I figured, Protect is so good in VGC, might as well just keep it. Yveltal is modest this time around with Tailwind on the team, and, you know, just still going max speed investment with that 172 HP investment for weather optimization, and it just has a little bit more oomph in what it can do with the Oblivion Wing and Snarl. With that first bump in the modest nature with 68 investment is really, really nice. And then Kyogre, again, the same Kyogre spread that we had in the other one, just meant to outspeed Regieleki on their Tailwind, right? So it's a relatively standard fast team that can do a lot of things. So definitely give this one a go if you want a hyper-aggressive Marshadow team. Okay, so with this last rental, this was made by my moderator because I ran out of slots to make a rental. Technically, I still have one more slot, but I don't want to disclose that team yet. I'm keeping that a secret for now. But that being said, that means I have to find another slot to make a rental. And thankfully, my moderator was available. So shout out to Evian for making this one for me. And shout out for the super cool name that they decided to call this team for comedy relief. So it was Volcanion that we recently made. And here it is. Volcanion is really nice on a dual weather team, but I decided to just focus on a sun team with Groudon and just make it useful there, just because it gives us a little bit more of an answer to Kyogre, right? So with Volcanion, you have Water Absorb for that reason, and then it's a Life Orb set, so you can do a lot of heavy damage with this Volcanion. And with Groudon on the team, you have a Sun Boosted Life Orb Heat Wave, really nice, of course, and then Steam Eruption if they want to bring in Kyogre. You have that going for you as well, and then Earth Power, just another ground move, potential Max Quake, you know. So if you want a Dynamax Volcanion, there it is. Groudon is back to being a Citrus Berry Swords Dance set here. I really like Citrus Berry with Protect and Swords Dance, so it's a nice recovery set. Charizard is back on this team with the Lumberry, just so that you don't fall asleep to Venusaur or even like Amoonguss stuff, and then or even like Grimmsnarl, Thunder Wave. Those are very annoying on your first turn Dynamax or even second turn. So Lumberry is really nice there. And it's just there to take advantage of Groudon's drought. Charizard's fire types are really strong this time around because like things like Melmetal, Magearna, Zacian, they're running around, and even like Solgaleo stuff is also there. And just being able to have that strong fire type attack against them is really nice. So I think Charizard is really nice in this type of format, and that's also why I said Ho-Oh can be used later on in this format. Zacian, of course, Zacian Groudon has been a good team in Series 12, and it's back again on this type of Sun teams. Really nice. Their strongest restricted, might as well slap it on there. Lunala's back here with Trick Room, speed control for your Groudon and your Volcanion. And again, I made it so that Volcanion and Groudon were 1 speed apart, so this way you don't speed tie and you always know who's going to go first, whether there's Trick Room up or not. And then Grimmsnarl is back on this team, extra bulk with the screen set, and of course Spirit Break, just really nice against Yveltals and Palkias. And also I want to mention Zacian this time has Solar Blade, really nice tech against Kyogre, so utilize that if you can in the Sun. It's a really nice tech, and I think it makes a lot of sense, right? And it's also good against opposing Groudons, believe it or not. So definitely consider that in your arsenal if you want to try and surprise the opponent, especially on ladder. But yeah, lots of good speed control options on this team. You have an Airstream, you have Trick Room, you have Scary Face. You have a lot of things going for you here, so definitely give it a go. Let's take a look at the EV spreads and get you guys to that rental code for Magearna. Alright, so here it is. Again, the Groudon is just a very standard set with the second bump in the Adamant Nature, along with the HP investment there. Really good Dynamax candidate. And we made it so that we can get a little bit more bang for a buck with the even number in our HP set. So this way you get more out of your Citrus Berry. Zacian has been the same set as always. Zard, just timid 252 set. Nothing really else needs to be said with Zard there. Lunala, same one as the other one. Max speed, just so that you can outspeed an opposing Shadow Rider after 1 Airstream. And then Grimmsnarl, second bump in the Careful Natured, and then the rest just went into HP and defense. Just a very bulky Grimmsnarl that's just meant to set up screens, be annoying with like Scary Face and Spirit Break. That's what Grimmsnarl is meant to do. Volcanion, second bump in the Modest Nature, just so that we have extra damage there. We have the Life Orb already, so yeah, I decided to go a little bit more bulkier with the HP and defense investment there, just to be able to take some Groudon stuff behind screens. Really nice there. And as well as the Regieleki attack, you can take it with the light screen as well. So I made it so that you can take both of those. And with that 172 speed, it's a lot of speed. It reminds me of Metagross and the way I like to build Metagross, right? A lot of speed. Again, hitting that 112 mark just to outspeed a base 100 like a Charizard, right? After an Airstream boost. So really nice there. Just to have that fast Volcanion under your control, right? But yeah, definitely give this one a go. And now the moment you've been waiting for, maybe. Let's take a look at that code to get you a CloverBells Magearna. All right, folks, there it is. There is that 8-digit link code. And again, if you trade this 8-digit link code, you will be matched with Gabe, aka thatguyinabeanie, and they will trade you your very own Magearna that has the exact same EV spreads that I made in my own Magearna team. So it's a CloverBells Magearna. So if you're interested in that, definitely trade this this 8-digit link code, and it's going to be available for 2 days only. So definitely take advantage of it if you want your own Magearna. But it's a really nice one, so definitely consider it. But yeah, that being said, yeah, that's all the rentals that we have for there. So hopefully that gets you started. Let me know which one you're gonna try, and let me know how you do with any of them if you do try them out. But now the next set of videos, of course, we're gonna showcase them on ladder, and let's see how they do. But yeah, that being said, we'll be back with the next one, guys. Until next one, peace out. Have a good day.